Nah, Diddy's in a tricky situation.
Boy, that's the understatement of the year.
Yeah, I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But do you think it's over as him as far as
jail?
like he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
I don't think so. I don't think he gets locked
I think he
up.
skates.
I think he skates. Or he goes to like Bali.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a move, huh?
I want to declare right here over these digital airwaves of YouTube that the career of Sean P. Diddy Combs, as we know it, it's over. This shit's over. It's over in the worst possible way, one of the worst possible ways you.
Diddy has officially hit rock bottom. Every single brand he's ever partnered with has dropped him. The FBI has seized his private jets, frozen his bank accounts, and locked down his mansions. His revenue, zero. His name, radioactive. And now, for the fifth time, Diddy's lawyers are begging the court to release him on bail. But even if he gets out, what's left to go back to? The empire he spent decades building is crumbling dash fast. People in the industry are already calling it. This is the end. The end of Diddy as an icon, as a mogul, as a man who once claimed he couldn't be touched. And you know what? They might be right. Before the investigation started, Diddy was the second richest man in hip-hop. His net worth was over $1 billion. He ran more than a dozen businesses. He was sitting at billionaire brunches with Jay-Z, Mark Cuban. And the mayor of New York, just weeks before the scandal broke, Mayor Eric Adams handed him the literal key to the city. They called it Diddy Day. His face was plastered on jumbotrons in Times Square. New York's bad boy had officially made it. And then, everything collapsed. Fast forward a few months, and that same key to the city returned quietly, embarrassingly. At the mayor's request, the same people who once toasted champagne with Diddy now won't even say his name. His so-called best friends in the industry silent. His business partners, it's gone. Jay-Z hasn't said a word. Mark Cuban's nowhere in sight. The message is clear, everyone's jumping ship to protect their own image. And it's not just public. It's perception that's crumbling, it's the numbers. Diddy's billion-dollar fortune slashed. In 2022, he was valued at over $1 billion. Today, some reports put him closer to $300 million and falling. The math is brutal. Nearly 70% of Diddy's wealth came from his alcohol brands, especially his partnership with Diageo for CROC. That deal alone was worth over $1 million now. That stake has plummeted, down to around $150 million. His cash reserves lower. His investments frozen. His real estate on the market. The FBI is now in control of most of what he once owned. And it gets worse. His jet gone, his Hamptons estate on the block, his LA mansion that was raided in March, for sale at $61 million. Even his Miami home, worth $48 million, was rejected by the court when his lawyers offered it as bail collateral. 'Cause now, that's not just a mansion, it's a crime scene. That mansion, along with Diddy's private planes, are now part of a federal investigation. Prosecutors allege those assets weren't just luxurious toys, they were tools used in criminal activity. Planes allegedly used to traffic underage girls. Properties used to conceal or commit acts tied to a broader racketeering enterprise. And because of that, the government isn't just locking Diddy up. They want to take everything he ever touched, according to former DOJ officials. This isn't your standard trial. This is RICO. This is federal forfeiture. This is scorched earth. And if convicted, prosecutors won't stop at jail time. They'll go after every brand, property, vehicle, and penny connected to him. That means decades of assets, investments, music catalogs, and intellectual property gone. Experts say it's one of the most aggressive takedowns they've seen in celebrity history. A former DOJ chief explained it simply. They're not just targeting Diddy, they're treating all of his businesses as part of the same criminal network. Which means even if he's not personally linked to every crime, if the brand benefited, they can take it. So how much is Diddy spending trying? To save himself, sources say upwards of $10 million and climbing. High-level federal lawyers don't come cheap, and Diddy's defense team isn't small. They're filing bail motions, negotiating forfeiture terms, and preparing for a wave of civil trials. And all that? It's draining him dry. But legal fees are just the beginning. Diddy's income streams are collapsing faster than his reputation. His once powerful partnership with Diageo quietly dissolved. No press releases, no public battle. Just silence. His Revolt TV network, bleeding sponsors and viewers by the day. Executives are quitting. Staff are resigning. Even though Diddy technically sold part of his stake, it doesn't matter. The association alone is killing the brand. Sean John, his once iconic fashion, label a ghost. Department stores barely carry it anymore. Licensing deals are drying up. And the brand that once defined hip-hop luxury, it's become a distant memory. What's worse? He still doesn't know how long he'll be in prison. The sentencing hasn't happened yet. But one thing is certain: the longer he stays behind bars, the faster his empire collapses. And in a last-ditch effort to soften the blow, Diddy pulled the oldest move in the PR book. He checked into rehab. His lawyers claim he's struggling with mental health, that all of this behavior came from unresolved trauma, not criminal intent, that he needs healing, not prison, but nobody's buying it. Not now, not after the fifth denied bail request, not after decades of documented abuse, intimidation, and manipulation. This isn't accountability, it's strategy. Diddy's trying to convince the court he's a changed man, that he's safe, that he deserves another chance. But let's be real, this move isn't about growth. It's about survival, and everyone knows it. This isn't some spontaneous awakening. It's perfectly timed damage control. Diddy's sudden interest in healing came right after his fifth bail request was denied. Suddenly, he wants therapy. Suddenly, he's remorseful. But let's be honest, this isn't redemption. This is calculation. If he can convince the judge that he's no longer a threat, maybe he'll walk free. Or at the very least, serve less time. But the prosecution sees through it in court. They're already preparing to fight back. While Diddy's lawyers are digging up cases where similar charges resulted in lighter sentences, prosecutors are doing the opposite. They're collecting examples of cases where people served hard time. They want to show the judge that Diddy deserves the maximum, not the minimum, and they're not wrong. The system has seen this play out before. Wealthy criminals take rehab courses, domestic violence programs, drug classes, psychological evaluations. Because they believe in them, but because they look good on paper. Judges see it every day. Check the boxes, show the effort, reduce the sentence. It's a script. And Diddy's playing it, but no one's buying the performance anymore. Because if Diddy truly cared about healing, about changing, he could have done it years ago when he had the money, the access, the best doctors in the world at his fingertips. Instead, he chose power. He chose control. He chose silence until now. And now that silence is costing him everything. Nobody believes the rehab stunt, not Cassie, not the victims, not the public. Because the moment his fifth bail attempt failed, Diddy suddenly found God and healing. Too convenient, too rehearsed, and most importantly, too late. Cassie's legal team has already filed a plea with the court. Do not release this man. They fear for her safety, and they're not alone. Deontay Nash, Cassie's longtime friend and former stylist, submitted his own letter to the judge. In it, he warned the court that Diddy's release would be dangerous not just to Cassie, but to everyone who testified. His exact words: Mr. Combs has a long, well-documented history of violent, coercive, and retaliatory behavior. Every time he escaped accountability, it reinforced his belief that he was untouchable. Released now, he will see it as a green light to continue harming people. And it's not just fear, it's fact. Diddy has spent decades using money and intimidation to silence people, Freddie P., another former artist close to Diddy, issued a chilling warning. Cassie, leave the country, get out now. Diddy gets out and he can't reach you, he'll go after the people you love. Your boyfriend, your family, your inner circle. Freddie wasn't guessing. He was speaking from experience. He knows what Diddy is capable of. He's seen what happens when you cross him. And Freddie wasn't the only one sounding the alarm. He went further, saying, if it were me and someone took $30 million from me, I'd make sure their boyfriend got beat up every time someone saw him. Every time. He paused, looked at the camera, and added, so if I do that, imagine what Sean would do. That statement shook people. Because it wasn't said in anger, it was said in certainty. The unspoken truth was loud. Diddy doesn't forget, he doesn't forgive. And if he walks out of jail, people fear what or who he might come for first. The fear isn't hypothetical. Diddy has a pattern, a long one. His empire was built on control, manipulation, and fear. Now imagine taking that empire away. Imagine stripping that kind of man of his wealth, his status, his power. What's left? A threat. A threat to those who finally found the courage to speak up. And yet there are whispers. Whispers that Diddy might not serve real time at all. That he might walk away from this mess with his mansions, his money, and even his private jets. Why? Because Suge Knight claims Diddy is more than just a celebrity. He's a federal informant. According to Suge, Diddy's been working with the feds for years. It's why he believes Diddy will get a slap on the wrist, if anything. Why he thinks Diddy might skate by while others take the fall. Because when you know too much, you become too dangerous to lock away. Suge Knight didn't hold back. In his interview, he laid it all out. If the feds really wanted Diddy gone, it would have already happened. Keefe D said Puffy paid him to take out Tupac and me. That's murder for hire. That's RICO. But no one's used that testimony. Why not? It's a valid question. If Diddy was truly the target, Keefe D's confession should have been enough to take him down years ago. But instead, the feds ignored it. Or buried it. And Suge believes he knows why because Diddy is protected. He's useful. And if things ever go south, he has enough dirt to take the whole industry down with him. That's what makes this situation even more dangerous. Diddy's talking to the government to save himself. He's not just a threat to his victims, he's a threat to the powerful people who once stood beside him. Industry insiders, executives, fellow moguls, people who've built billion-dollar careers in the shadows. And now those people are watching closely. Because if Diddy starts talking, he could bring down the entire house of cards. But if he stays, Quiet Tan still walks free, then what message does that send? That the rules don't apply. That money still talks. That silence still pays. And the truth is, Diddy's silence has always been strategic. He built his entire career on being untouchable, on knowing who to befriend, who to threaten, and what to keep behind closed doors, and for decades, it worked. He was the guy with the champagne in one hand and the contract in the other. The puppet master, the kingmaker. Now, he's the cautionary tale, and this cautionary tale is unraveling in real time. Gone are the private jets and million-dollar suits. Gone are the celebrity friends, the Grammy night handshakes, the billionaire brunches. What's left is a man sitting behind bars, scrambling for a sixth chance at bail, trying to trade luxury for mercy. But no matter how many deals he offers, the judge isn't moved. His fifth bail request denied. Even after offering $50 million, house arrest, 24/7 private security, and giving up internet and phone access, the court said no. Why? Because the court doesn't just see Diddy as a man, they see a pattern. Network. A system of abuse masked by wealth and power. And that system, it's what prosecutors are trying to dismantle. And now, Spotlight is on October 3rd. That's when sentencing begins. That's when the world will find out. Does Diddy walk free Or does the empire finally fall? His lawyers are pushing the narrative of mental illness, childhood trauma, addiction, anything that might humanize him in the eyes of the court. But prosecutors, they're not interested in sympathy. They're preparing to show the full weight of what Diddy built, a criminal machine disguised as a music empire. They've already told the court, this isn't about one bad night or one bad choice. This is about a decades-long history of exploitation, of power used to destroy, not uplift. Of victims who were ignored, silenced, bought off, or worse. And for the first time in his life, Diddy is no longer in control of the narrative. And now, the world is watching to see how it ends. Because this isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's about every celebrity who thought fame could cover up everything. Every executive who looked the other way. Every friend who said nothing while the empire was being built on pain. Diddy once stood at the center of hip-hop culture. He shaped the sound, the business, the lifestyle. He taught artists how to think like moguls. He made being a bad boy look like a badge of honor. But behind the smoke and champagne was a system built on fear, on silence, on trauma. And now, every brand is gone. Every business partner has vanished. It's a billion-dollar empire, disintegrating. What remains are the court documents, the asset seizures, the victims' testimonies, and a growing number of criminal charges. The fifth bail offer rejected. The $50 million bond, not enough. The rehab program, transparent. The PR campaign, too little, too late. Even his own mansions are being treated like crime scenes. The jet, gone. The estates, frozen. The net worth, bleeding out. Diddy thought he was untouchable. He thought he had enough power, enough friends, enough money to outrun everything. But the truth is, the system he built is now the very thing collapsing. On top of him, the people he silenced. They're finally being heard. The world he ruled, turning its back. And if the feds have their way, this won't just be the end of Diddy's career. It'll be the end of Diddy, the empire, the influence, the illusion. It's over. And the final chapter. It's being written now. The curtain has fallen. The glitz, the money, the power wit was all borrowed time. Diddy's empire wasn't built to last. It was built on silence, secrets, and survival. Now every lie is being unraveled in court. Every brand has fled. Every friend has disappeared. The music has stopped. And the man who once thought he could buy immunity is now facing a reality he can't escape. This isn't just the fall of a mogul, it's the exposure of an entire machine. The illusion is shattered. The mask is off. And what's left behind? It's just the wreckage. If you've made it this far, you already know this isn't just celebrity drama. It's the unraveling of a legacy. So if you want the truth, the receipts, and the fallout as it happens, subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Diddy will walk free? Or is this really the end of everything?